It is John Pollock here alongside Robin Black. We're heading into the weekend, and Robin, we were discussing the fact that this is certainly a time where the UFC are running these cards, but you're not necessarily having those mega cards at the moment. This Saturday, it's not a very deep card. Next weekend, certainly it's a pay-per-view, and with that, expectations a lot higher as a result of it. Your key stars are not around at the moment, and we had so many big names fight in November at Madison Square Garden, and then to close out the year with Ronda Rousey, that now a lot of those champions, they're either not available to come back, they're hurt, they don't know if they're going to continue fighting. It's kind of a weird transitional period at the moment for fight fans of the UFC.
Yeah, I think that's why when you look at how something works, you look at any kind of number or metric or whatever, you take a big sample size. What are the numbers? How many people watch fighting on average over the last 2 years? Because if you go only by a couple of months, you're like, holy crap, 1.5 million pay-per-views, everybody, Conor, Ronda, all of that at one time. That's not sustainable. There aren't enough people that make you want to watch fighting. Also, there's a whole lot of things in the world. There'll be some big football game apparently this Sunday. You know, there's I heard something about it. There's like new movies coming out every weekend and new video games and new everything. The internet, every song ever made in human history on YouTube, everything. So it's unsustainable to have everybody watch fighting every weekend. So you get these big ups and you get downs. It is a weird one. I think it doesn't feel like there's a card this weekend if you follow, the up and down of the internet. But on the other hand, Dennis Bermudez versus the Korean Zombie for me is a card that I'm pumped. I'm going to invite my friends over. We're going to drink beer and yell at the TV. It's going to be fun.
It seems that is received the vast majority of the interest on this card. There's a lot of interesting questions about Chan Sung Jung because this was a very exciting fighter. And I only say that in the past tense because we haven't seen him for so long, and that in and of itself is going to be answered on Saturday to see him against a very quality featherweight in Dennis Bermudez.
When you are somebody who really enjoys watching fighting, combat, the martial arts, you find these things curious. Your curiosity's peaked. Like, how long has it been since he's fought? Like 75 years? Like a long time. So what is
3.5, which would be 75 in MMA.
Yeah, in MMA years. That is a long time. And people don't just kind of sit around eating Cheerios and going, well, I guess next time I fight, I'll just take the skills and experiences that I used to have and I'll just bring that in. You change and you grow. You're a different human being. There's, no man ever steps in a river twice because he's not the same man and it's not the same river. Something like that. And the
your usage of the river of late, it's on point.
Man, water, it's an interesting thing, the way it moves, but it's tasty. We're made up of water, makes sense.
My favorite element.
Yeah.
Some other elements on this card are the female strawweights, and it looks like we're going to have an interesting showcase. I mean, yes, there is Michelle Waterson, but a lot of people looking at Jessica Andrade. She has this fight against Angela Hill, who's coming back to the UFC after her run in Invicta as strawweight champion in that organization. Jessica Andrade is one of those fighters since cutting down to 115. She's looked great against Jessica Penne and Joanne Calderwood. No easy tasks at 115 pounds. Is she kind of the strawweight you isolate that a strong performance? Does that get your interest for a possible strawweight title fight?
Yeah, I think so. If she goes in there and she has a big night, I think so. But there's certain realities that are unavoidable. If you're a purist of fighting, I like to stick my head in the sand and pretend these things aren't so. But popularity and how many people would be interested in watching you fight and what you look like and the way you talk and all of those things. And when your name is the Karate Hottie and you had 4 million plus people watch you on Fox, it's going to be hard for somebody else to go in and try to take that title fight away. And we were talking about this on the preview show earlier this week. Whoever that is, you get paid a little more and you get more exposure and you get the big chance when you're in a title fight. But Joanna Jędrzejczyk is what you get to fight. You know what I mean? That's what you get. Yay, congratulations, you get to fight Joanna Jędrzejczyk, and that is tough.
Yeah, as we look beyond this card as well, I mean, it seems for you yourself, you've got March the 4th as kind of your card that, I mean, that has an incredible set of title fights, I will say. Not just the Khabib Nurmagomedov, Tony Ferguson fight, but also Tyron Woodley and Stephen Thompson. Is that kind of the next big event? Because the UFC, they really thrive on these big events. Do you think that March 4th card will have that feel?
I think that's the next big one, and it's in Vegas, and there's going to be a lot of fight people in Vegas that week. I think that's the next big event. I think there are fascinating fights for me coming up in between. But again, when you're talking about the reality, I'd like to live in a world where everybody sees that fighting is the most interesting of all art forms and entertainment things out there. But only a certain amount of people will be watching this weekend, and those are the obsessives. And I'm glad to hang out with you guys. But yes, the one that I think will bring in the outside, where my mom, who lives in Vegas part of the time, will actually be aware it's happening. That'll be UFC 209 in Las Vegas.
Well, you can enjoy the UFC on Saturday night and then the football game on Sunday night, which is in fact happening. The Falcons and the Patriots. Go Falcons.